can try and articulate this question as best I can, Gadi, but if you're thinking about something, designing something and making it such that people really latch onto the product, that they want to keep it for a number of years, it's not something they feel like they have to discard or throw away or keep getting the latest model, how do you factor that into the design process? I mean, obviously, in some cases, the companies may want you to keep buying the next one every couple of years or something. That's where they maybe make their profits. But you know, if you want to design something that people really like, they want to keep it for years to come. How do you balance that with the whole idea of profit?
Well, in some cases, a lot of companies are now thinking about long-term presence in the market. They see design to some degree not as an expense but as an investment in building their brand, building their name. If you take, for instance, what happened in the car industry through the many years, cars that are reliable eventually build brand and create this aura that you can pay extra. You can pay extra for Mercedes or BMW, and with that extra you could justify your buying decision. And that, in many cases, is about longevity of the product. And a lot of companies are now very aware of that cycle, that each dollar they put into design and product development could actually bring the next quarter's revenues, but also build a brand and recognition over the next decade. And so that's one aspect. There are companies who deal with infrastructure who needs that product to stay for a long, long time. So I do think that the corporate echelon is definitely aware of longevity as a major positive factor. I think a lot of the rumors about people thinking about the next quarters are unfounded when it becomes a real decision-making time. It's not happening like that. People are cognizant of the next quarter as much as the next year, as much as the next 5 years.
If I could jump in on there, I think things are really changing. I really, truly do. You know, companies like FreePlay, companies like mine, that are looking at both the social impact and also profit. We consider our company to be a 3P company: people, planet, and profits. Last year, a major American retailer, I talked to them, sent them samples, sent them emails, and finally I got a phone call, and one of their senior VPs said, look, we make a lot of profit off two things: paint and batteries. I said, does that mean you're not going to carry my product? He said, that's correct. And I said, can I get that in email? And he said, no. But I tell you, straight up right front right now, I can beat his products. And so I think long term, and not even that long term, I think in the very short term, the American consumer is going to come to a position where they're going to say, wait a minute, why am I doing things that don't make any sense? Why am I buying things that don't have sustainability automatically built into them up front? And I think we're seeing that across the board in a lot of different disciplines right now. And the economic situation, it may be impacting it a lot, but I think this whole new fresh air of, hey, everything is changing, everything has to change. In times of change, there's always time for opportunity also. And right now, I think there's an enormous opportunity in sustainable design.
Just a quick comment. I think the comment about the retail channels has been really a wonderful comment here, because they're the big elephant in the room that nobody talks about. They do have a need for, speed and, recycling through their shelves a lot of products fast. These are not the manufacturers or the brands. I'd say a lot of it is actually the retail channels.
I mean, it does seem like a lot of companies are also focusing on the product is one thing, and perhaps they can update the software. And so you don't necessarily go out and buy a brand new product and have to get the latest and greatest, but you get this sort of sense that the product is being renewed with a software update, whether it's the App Store through the iPhone or something like that. You feel like you have a new product, so you're not necessarily going to go and buy a new one. An example maybe this week where it was the Amazon Kindle, which I'm sure people are aware that the Kindle 2 came out, and one of the big problems with the original Kindle, and many of you have one, is the complaint about the next page button, which I don't know, maybe that's just me, but it was so big, and everybody kept complaining, they kept hitting it too many times, and they want to change the page. They loved the software and the way that it read the books, presented the books, but the design, I think, was flawed from the beginning. Kindle 2 comes out, they seem to solve this problem, they've made it better, and there's this, I think, nagging feeling with some people thinking, do I need to go buy this new one now? I'm gonna go buy a brand new Kindle. It's really not that different. It still does the same thing.
Well, I think it's what Emily said, the feedback loop. You know, I always tease my wife. I told her that this is the worst product and most expensive product we will ever make. And it's true, because the next generation is going to be cheaper or better, or I'm not going to change it. And so the evolution of this, my engineers would probably love just to keep changing and improving, never go to market. Eventually you just have to put okay guys, this is the design, okay? Then we'll make it, we're going to come out with an improved model in June that we've learned from this one. This thing only has been out since October, so our speed of, and the other thing is, with the technology, solar panels are getting better and cheaper. LEDs are getting better and cheaper. And so you have this wonderful convergence of my prices are going down for my components, but at the same time they're going down, my capability in those components is going up. And so there's this really cool sweet spot, which is already here. It's just going to keep getting better.
I do think, though, that software industry is just as worse as the hardware industry. Feature creep is all over the map. I tell my designers the days that I had a better version of Photoshop, and it was 425K, the whole application, and it did 90% what Photoshop today does, and for probably 90% of the users, you don't need much more than that. And I don't know what's the full install of Photoshop now. It's probably 4 gigabytes or something like that. It's just, the computer industry definitely has a few tough questions to answer about the transition and, gobbling more memory, gobbling more cycles of CPUs and so on. And it's a good time.
Because they can almost.
I would risk a little bit and say that that's because they manage it like that. We got to stop that to some degree, and I think users are becoming a lot more aware that there is no need for new software every year. Probably need it every 5 years. And it's reasonable, and I would pay a very good amount of money for really new, really good, innovative software every 5 years. The problem is that they expect from their business model to sell new software every year. So, and to some degree, software actually driving hardware development, and that is a big issue actually. By the way, sustainable, most people talk about hardware, but the software has a big issue. And that's a big impact about the demands from the hardware, and they need to be part of the discussion very much.
Ro, give me a little bit of insight into that feedback loop that